exactly 1 year ago, on the 14th of March 2020, when we decided in Germany, in our region, that it might be better to not work in a bunch of people inside our TV station, but go to their respective homes and work from there. And uh, we were not in the final stage of the new workflow, but we had the basics done, and we could swap really easily from the workflow everyone was used to the new workflow where you were totally spread into the field, and we had our our TV show that we do each night. It was on the air each night, of course, and we had maybe as a as an exclamation mark the days before Christmas in 2020, we had a case of COVID in the core team. So we didn't know if anybody else might be infected, and we decided to do the news show from the offices at home, really. So the viewers saw the living room of one of our anchors when he anchored the show from his home. And we could even do that and get the news to the people. We had all that we needed for a regular TV show on the air, but we didn't even um, sit together in one of our smaller stations now. Everyone was at their home in a quarantine to not infect each other.
Yeah.
Luckily, no one was infected apart from that
That's
one
one
guy, and
person.
he's all fine now, so
Yeah.
everything's good.
I heard a story about a news station from a big broadcaster where actually they put a small team of 20 people into
Mm.
lockdown voluntarily within the station. They could not go out. They had showers. So they
I
did
know.
it in the other way around, which is which is also a way
Yeah.
to go, but I don't think you can last for a year in that way of work.
Probably not. I know those stories also well, where they have those two teams, but as you can see, they need 20 people to manage their show from a central point of action. And this is something we wouldn't do anymore.
Yeah.
Basically, we would rather uh, steer the control room via a remote IP connection.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that's easier to do now.
So you will not go back.
No, no, I don't think there's any way back. Uh, you well, in the end, you have to face economic challenges also. It was not the first um, target to be or to lower costs. The first target in our case was to be able to work more flexible, as I said, to get more content in a good quality on the air, because we felt that the world gets more complicated. You need to explain more what's going on, and as soon as you have the opportunity to get more moving pictures on the air, you can be more transparent in terms of news for the people.
Yeah.
So that was the first reason why we started this whole process. In the end, now you can see that the world, especially for private TV station, gets also more complicated economically, and of course, this the 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 usage of smartphones for doing video news is much less expensive than the old-fashioned way, let's
Yeah.
say. So I don't think we will come back to a standard where you have three people going out. Of course, as I said, there will be there will be opportunities or needs that you have to produce video in a high quality scale. That's when you need all the specialists that we have, of course. But there are so many um, smaller events
Stories.
that you
Yeah.
can easily cover with one person. And I'd say let's cover those events with one person rather than not covering them. As we've learned now is that we can invite the the people that are in charge in the cities of our region much more easily into our studios because they don't have long ways to drive, or well, they can basically come just over as a neighbor and stand in the studio, do an interview, and just head off. Because time is really getting a very expensive resource nowadays. That's one way of getting higher quality news on the show. The second is that we, of course, use all the digital means that we are using now doing this podcast. Also, I think every, let's say, mayor um, in the country has learned where the camera on their laptop is. So we will take them on the air as the big news corporations also do it, and we will interview them via Skype, via WebEx, via Teams, whatsoever, and take them on the show, which I feel gets better content even on regional news shows because you can talk to people more transparent. You can really ask them the questions that a journalist needs to ask sometimes. And uh, in the past, they might have said, "Oh, I don't have the time to come to the studio, and it's too far, and I have appointments, blah blah blah," and they just wouldn't have answered. Now you can tell them, "Okay, get on your desk. Let's find a 10-minute slot for a Skype interview, and everything's fine."
Yeah.
So this is also an advantage that the pandemic brought us. Um, Apart from all the disadvantages we all know, we of course all know about.